to poaching, and they are warning that this season there will be blood.
Oh my.
We're going to talk about this with Jeffrey Todd, the Guardian business editor, who's joining us once again. Jeff, it's always a pleasure to have you here. You have an exclusive interview in the business section today. Some fishermen coming forward to talk to you about their concerns. Tell us how this came about. What is the story here, and what exactly is happening?
Hey there, how you doing? I was working with the Bahamas Commercial Fishers Alliance for some time now, probably a bit better part of a year, and their grievances are nothing new in terms of in terms of the message from the top. But one sort of bone of contention constantly was, will the fishermen come forward? Because those are the people that are really the ones that are involved on a day-to-day basis. Those are the ones that really know the ins and outs. They're not involved in the bureaucracy in the same way. These are just the guys that see it every day and that are hurting from it. And it was, I had encouraged this for a long period of time. I wasn't even expecting it, and then last week I got a call saying, hey, we got a bunch of fishermen down here at the Green Parrot on Bay Street. Why don't you come down and talk to these guys? And I jumped on the opportunity. These are unemployed Bahamian fishermen. Basically, they're of the opinion where they just are having so much trouble getting work. They are welcoming the stigma that comes with actually coming forward and saying that these are the problems. It's got that desperate. And they've got to the point where they just say that the main systemic problems, which some people are aware of but not everybody, is that Dominicans have flooded the industry. It's become a systemic issue in which Dominicans are hired as captains, and then they only hire Dominicans. One of the reasons for this is that they pay Dominicans far less money, but then also they're not privy to the same kinds of rules and regulations as Bahamians.
And these are not people with work permits. They're just...
Some of them might have work permits, but what they do is they hire them as engineers. And you'll have about 20, 25 engineers on one boat, but they're actually fishermen. There's a lot of ways that they've managed to skirt the rules and regulations. And basically everyone's well aware of everything that happens within the industry, but no one says anything because either they're afraid or they receive certain compensation for not saying anything. What we did was, these fishermen had all come together, and they were there with the blessing and support of the Bahamas Commercial Fishermen's Alliance, and executives from there were also at the meeting. So this was very representative of the actual industry.
So we're not just talking about poaching here, but boats here, licensed boats in the Bahamas, operating within the law in the Bahamas, who have just taken on Dominicans, maybe with or without work permits, who have just flooded the market and have basically shoved out Bahamians from...
Well, what makes this especially compelling is a time when a lot of Bahamians are looking for work, and the fishing industry, this is an island nation. Fishing industry, fish is a very expensive commodity worldwide. Fishing industry is a very lucrative industry. It's universally accepted from the people I spoke with in the industry that we are not taking advantage of this industry like we could. We export about 78% of what we actually fish to Europe and other markets such as the U.S. It's big money, and the fact that it's not owned and properly operated by Bahamians, and that we're not making the kind of money that we should be off it, I think it's an industry that gets passed by a lot. A lot of people don't think about it. It's not as perhaps as prominent as industries like real estate or casino gambling or things of that nature, but these guys work hard, and you can see it in their eyes when they're talking to you. They're really, really frustrated. And this particular gentleman who believes that there will be blood, and he wasn't the only one, he said it, but the others certainly concurred, is the sense that these guys everyone's carrying guns now.
All the fishermen?
Yeah, and they're saying that the resentment is building between the Dominicans and the Bahamians. And there have been scuffles, and they believe but he basically told me is that things don't change by August, that some people are willing to start taking matters into their own hands. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just using that as an example to tell you what they told me in terms of the level of their frustration.
So